Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So it's time for another album review this Sunday, and I'm talking here about another third LP from another Australian singer-songwriter. This is Stella Donnelly and her release Love and Fortune, which came out on the 7th of November via Dot Dash Recordings, and the album is 11 tracks and around about 35 minutes in length. So I discovered this artist because I've been listening to Hatchie and this was recommended to me, and I have been absolutely stunned by what I've discovered. This is quite raw, quite unfiltered, deeply affecting, slightly folky sounding, yet very soulful and moving music. Actually, I can hear a little bit of Karen Carpenter in Stella's voice personally. As I say, this is just my first impression, so if this feels like wildly inaccurate to you, I do apologise. This is just my first impression of Stella, and I can hear a little bit of Karen Carpenter, but if Karen Carpenter was maybe doing a more modern indie style, like maybe an artist such as Soccer Mummy as well, for those of you that maybe know Soccer Mummy, I can hear a bit of that too. And on this third album, she's exploring feelings of rejection and pain, having lost a close friend. And, there's some quite like upfront lyrics and very relatable subject matter here, I'm sure, for a lot of people that have lost friends either because you've grown distant, you've been ghosted, you've had a big falling out or something. And therefore, I feel like it's a very bold album with what she's done. And she said that she actually didn't really want to, I think a part of her didn't want to write the album because she was feeling very uncomfortable about it. But at the same time, she had to let her feelings out. She had to let go of her emotions. And she actually describes it as such here. I'm quoting her here and saying, "These songs wouldn't leave me alone. Like seagulls, they screamed at me when I rode to work, they pecked at me while I wrote essays, and they stole my chips the second I thought I was happy without music." And what's so incredible for me about this record is, despite the discomfort she obviously felt when writing and performing this album, it is still very comforting to listen to because I think it's so relatable and the music is so good. The songwriting is also, very accomplished and mature seeming. And therefore, when you're listening to it, it's an incredibly warm and comforting experience when you feel like, given that she's obviously experiencing pain as she's writing this, it shouldn't feel that way. But I think this demonstrates how pain and discomfort can actually be translated into beautiful art, and that's exactly what's happened with Love and Fortune. For me, one of the albums of the year for me so far. Certainly outside of rock and outside of metal, this is right up there for me on my year-end list, and it's an absolutely stunning album that is, like I say, I really think this is something I'd highly recommend that you don't sleep on this, particularly if you like this sort of indie singer-songwriter approach or style. Anyway, let's go into some of the songs on this album. Feel It Change was an advanced single I really enjoyed, had one of the more sort of immediate and striking melodies and vocal moments on the record for me. And then you have the, for me, deeply emotional Please Everyone, which is a highly relatable track, when you're trying to please other people, but you're not necessarily getting those reciprocal feelings back for you. And the way she delivers these vocal lines was really tear-inducing type stuff here for me. I offered up my shoulder you could lean upon, she sings, but you climbed right on. We hide ourselves in always pleasing everyone, and you can't please everyone. This is the thing, some of these lyrics are really, I encourage you to read the lyrics as well, because you can actually relate to a lot of what she's singing, which, you can't always say about a lot of artists out there. Ghosts was another one of my favourite songs on this record, with a lovely piano melody and pads providing this kind of somber atmosphere around it too, and Stella comes in with more raw and unfiltered feelings with her lyrics. And another heart-wrenching chorus on this song I found, but I loved this verse too, which again I'm going to read out the lines of this verse. "I learned how to grieve through all your jokes, not losing sleep as much as I was. Who am I to enrage myself in every word that we ever spoke?" It sounds like she's trying to come to terms there with a broken relationship, or perhaps in this case, a broken friendship. And Laying Low, another highlight for me on the record, a sublime way to finish the album, a slightly dreamier song with one of my favourite choruses on the whole album too. But there are quite a few highlights on this album for me, actually. As a start to finish album, it is pretty much perfect. And you know what that means? when I say something is pretty much perfect, you can guess what score is coming up for this one. Yep, it's only the second 10 of 2025, but the second in the space of 3 weeks. Following on from an Abstract Illusion and their album The Sleeping City, we have our second 10 out of 10 of the year in Stella Donnelly and Love and Fortune. So here we go, it's a perfect score, it's a 10 out of 10 for this one. I absolutely mean that you should definitely check this out, because it is yet kind of subtle and understated, but stunning album from this artist. So yeah, check this out. I love this. This was off the charts for me. Maybe it's just my kind of thing, I don't know. But yeah, like I say, love this album. And from me, until the next review, it is bye for now. And a giant spider has just appeared in the corner of my living room. So I'm quite terrified now. Definitely time to go. See you next time.